The Dock Pro60 USB-C 4K station with Game Plus mode, featured in today's review, was provided courtesy of IOGEAR. One of the greatest things about the Nintendo Switch is that you could take it anywhere. The system's ability to be played on screen and off depending on the situation makes it very versatile. But what about the times you are out and drop by a friend's house and the call comes out that it is time to throw down in Smash or Mario Kart? You can play in tabletop mode, sure, but come on, they have a TV right there. If only the Nintendo Switch dock wasn't so big and awkward to lug around and fit into your travel case. Well, impromptu multiplayer sessions on a bigger screen are no longer an issue with the IOGEAR Dock Pro60 USB-C 4K station with Game Plus mode. This tiny dock fits nicely into Switch travel cases along with an extra set of Joy-Cons to allow for an impromptu multiplayer session no matter where you might be. The Dock Pro comes in a nice box with the front showcasing what the dock is intended to do: provide USB-C output to supported devices. So while I might be focusing on Switch for this review, the Dock Pro does also provide output support for compatible Android phones and tablets, as well as Mac and PC. The back of the box provides a nice diagram of connectivity along with bullet points of features. Inside the box we have the Dock Pro, USB-C to USB-C cable, and a user's guide. The Dock Pro comes in a nice silver plastic with the IOGEAR branding on top being the only visible markings, with the rest of the usual product IDs being placed underneath. The color and lack of obtrusive writings really give the Dock Pro a sleek presentation once hooked up. The Dock Pro is nice and compact, measuring just a mere 0.47 inches tall, 2.7 inches wide, and 3.6 inches long. It honestly looks relatively the same size as the PlayStation TV system, which is the exact form factor I would be looking for from a travel dock like this. The device is also very lightweight, making it much easier to travel with compared to some other options out there. Along the back of the device are a couple of USB-C ports for power and video input, and an HDMI port for video output. The front of the dock has one USB 2.0 port and one USB 3.0 port for connecting accessories to. Uses can include keyboard and mouse, controllers, or even external drives. Setting up the Dock Pro is very easy. Simply plug in power and HDMI, then use the included USB-C cable to attach to your Switch. Or, other devices you might want to use the dock on. For the Switch, do make sure to use the official AC adapter, otherwise video might not display. I encountered this lack of video when experimenting with a couple of my third-party power cords that could drive the official Switch dock. If you need to use any additional accessories, they plug into the USB ports on the front as you would expect. I have used these front USB ports for the GameCube controller port adapter, charging Pro controllers, and even the Switch wired network adapter. Each attached device has worked exactly as expected without missing a beat. The dock outputs full 1080p video from the Nintendo Switch to my TV in fantastic quality. There were no visual artifacts or drop display input, of which I have encountered on some third-party docks in the past. I also wasn't able to distinguish any image differences between the Dock Pro and the official Nintendo Switch dock, so overall I'm very happy in this regard. Because of the Dock Pro's size, it is very easy to take with me on the go in my Satisfy Elite case. Sadly, the official Switch charger doesn't fit in at the same time, but that isn't related to the Dock Pro, so whatever. Because the dock features a removable USB-C to USB-C cable, it also ensures that the dock and cable won't take damage from being transported. Man, there would be nothing worse than to break a permanently attached video input cord and have to buy an entirely new dock because of it. One thing to note when using the Switch with the Dock Pro is to make sure you don't lay it down completely flat on a surface. This could result in overheating your Switch, and nobody wants that. Even with the Joy-Cons attached, the angle isn't my favorite for air intake. Ideally, I use it with my Satisfy grip, but I haven't been able to experiment with 90-degree USB-C to USB-C cables that work with the Dock Pro yet, so it kinda just lays there. It works, but it isn't anything super visually appealing. The price tag attached to the Dock Pro is a bit on the high side. At $79.95, I am not sure how feasible the Dock Pro is when $30 alternatives exist that provide the same functionality. Though to be fair, those cheaper alternatives likely offer cheaper quality and might even break your Switch, as some cheaper docks have done. Still, something to keep in mind when deciding on your purchase. After using the Dock Pro for the last month, I can happily say it works exactly as advertised. It is a compact, lightweight dock that can be used for the Switch and other devices while at home or at a friend's. Best yet, it hasn't bricked my Switch after multiple hours of use. If price is of no concern to you and this is the type of functionality you need, the Dock Pro is ready to go no matter where you are when the need for a multiplayer throwdown occurs. So that is the IOGEAR Dock Pro. Again, fantastic little device, works exactly as advertised, but unfortunately due to that price point, I just have a hard time really recommending it unless you just really want something that works. There are tons of alternatives out there, and I don't know. I'll need to test them to really see how they stack up against it. But again, fantastic little device. If money's no issue, yeah, you'll be happy with it. And it works with a lot of different things, so awesome. But that does it for today's video. Thank you again, as always, to everyone who stuck around to the end. This was a bit of a shorter one today. So if you liked it, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that dislike button. And if you'd like to further help support the channel, you can also click on that join button here on YouTube or check out that Patreon link in the bottom left-hand corner of the video screen. For as little as $1 a month, you can help me continue to make awesome content just like this. And for everyone that has already done so, thank you so much again. I can't thank you for your continued support. But until next time, stay awesome and we will see you all back next video.